Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Play Choices podcast, the podcast you hear. I'm your host, V.
Hi, I'm the co-host Lucas.
So, as you may be able to tell from the title of the podcast, we're going to be spending this episode discussing Blades of Light and Shadow, aka the longest fucking title I've ever encountered in the Choices app. So, Lucas, just so you know, the fandom typically calls this book either just Blades or they spell it out as like the acronym. So it's like BOLAS or something for the full acronym. So you will never hear me say Blaze of Light and Shadow Book 1 on this podcast again. This is the longest fucking title.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we're just going to call it Blades from now on.
I like that. Yep.
Right. So we're going to spend this episode discussing Blades Book 1, Chapters 1 through 2. So this episode is not spoiler safe. So if you want to avoid spoilers for Blades Book 1, Chapters 1 through 2, please go read those chapters first. We'll be here for you to come back and listen. I've tweeted about this. I really did. Why this chapter says 12 minutes and the actual playtime is like an hour?
It is so long.
So long. There's so many like finite like plot details
Mm-hmm.
that you have to like hone in on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on.
All the time.
Don't you always feel like the beginning of any fantasy series is like the most boring shit ever?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's too much.
It's so much because like they give you like a little bit of everything, but the everything is already too much. Like it would be different if it was more focused on like one major route, and then when you get there it's kind of like, oh, look at all these other roads you could take. No, bitch, no. It's so
Right.
much. And
It's
these diamond
so
scenes,
intense.
long as hell. They is
Yes.
long.
So long. And it's like at the end of the day, like I don't have anything against Mallernia. Trust me, trust and believe. I don't have anything against them. But like I'm only here for the artifact and the XP. Those are the two things I came
That's
in the
it.
scene for.
That's
I
it.
don't need to learn all your childhood trauma. Like that's not what I'm here
Yeah,
for.
I don't. Definitely. Oh,
It's a bit
girl.
much.
I said, bitch, if you don't go cry me a river. I said,
Oh my god.
Jesus. Jesus. Because they just write her literally like any other major female like ally in any fucking fantasy story, book,
Yes.
anime. Like this girl who's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be weak. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired.
Here we go. 2 minutes into the
Oh,
podcast,
God.
and Lucas is already out here.
No, don't get it was like
already out here flaming a side character.
yeah, it's just like I understand and I get it, but like the diamond scene, and we'll get to it. But she was like, "I'm not as powerful without my bracelet." I said, "Bitch, let's go get this bracelet." I said, "Come on," because
Yeah,
you're
I
not
said
about
no.
to.
You clearly need it.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was one moment where they like make it known because like this is the first book that I've played that something is constantly coming down, like telling you like this happened because you did something or like something or another. And like it literally popped down and said she did that because of her bracelet, and I said, "Good, well, good." Like I'm
You
glad.
said, well, I'm glad that it was worth the 12 diamonds I spent then. Thank you very much for confirming that for me. Yeah, no, I get it. And then I was also telling you, like, before the recording started that, like, this fucking second chapter was so long. By the time that Vash was dying, I was like, just die. I can just Google everything you're trying. I can just Google it after.
Right. Yeah.
Like, sir, you breathing a little bit too many last breaths.
That's what I'm saying. He was like, "I won't last long." You sure about that? Because
this man had a good 6 minutes left to him.
I was like, "You sure about that?" Lord.
Yeah. No, that second chapter was long for various reasons. So as a genre, are you like a fantasy lover? Is this like up your alley?
Oh yeah, I love this. This gives me like, it gives me like Skyrim mixed with like
No, I fucking knew you were gonna say Skyrim. I knew it was gonna come up
yeah.
in the first like 10 minutes of the conversation. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, very much so. It gives me like Skyrim.
Valkyrie!
Yeah, like absolutely, like absolutely. Because it's like it's weird because like when you play fantasy games, like the plot can intrigue you, yes, but like I feel like every time I play a fantasy game, I said I just gotta get more powerful. I can't let any bitch like.
That's really how I felt because let me tell you, I
Yeah.
was using the walkthrough when I was playing through because I'm normally not a person who's like has to play for completion or something like that. But the moment you put an XP bar on top of my screen,
That's
it's
it.
done. I'm
It's
like, I
done.
have got to look up the walkthrough because
It's
there's no way I'm gonna
done.
be out here looking like a weak
A
bitch.
weak bitch. You hear me? Like,
Not next to a
oh,
high priestess and some famous adventurer.
uh-uh.
No, I will not be.
Not no high priestess, a low priestess. Please,
Oh,
please.
you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are correct. You are. That's the thing. She introduced herself as a priestess of the light, and then later on in the chapter, she was like, "I'm not even a priestess." I said, "So
Yes.
you just lying to strangers?
I
You
was
just
like,
lying
you
to
out here
strangers?
lying.
Just lying."
But I
Oh,
do like
Nia.
the I like the animation. I like the
Oh,
world
the
that they
CGs
have
are amazing.
created.
The
Yeah, they're
CGs
good. I
are
like it.
incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was really enjoying the art, and that's why I think it's like it's very clear. Like these two are going to be allies. Like I see it. I see it
Oh
in the
yeah,
future.
absolutely.
But at the same, do I even care? Not really.
No, me either.
Truly, not at all.
No, not one damn.
No.
Because like Li is such a hard. There's too much going on. Okay, baby, I
Yeah.
just need a nut and some experience. That's it. Like that's it. Because we over here, we gotta find three different shards in three different locations. Again, we're kind of jumping the gun. We're gonna get into it,
Mhm.
but it's just so much. And not only that, you gotta convince half the other people. You gotta find a lost elf colony. I don't got time to be worried about your feelings.
Right, and everyone's like, "No, it's a myth, it's a legend," and we're like, bitch. We've seen it for ourselves. We've seen it with our own eyes."
And the only reason why we're doing this is to try to get back one of our last family members. Oh no,
Mm,
death not. We gotta. Come on, let's go. Like,
yeah. As far as I'm concerned, he's adopted. Case adopted. Do I really need him?
you. I mean,
Mm.
we had a good run.
I'll be honest. I already went ahead and posted a tweet saying that Mal talks too much, and already I have people like picketing me. So I'm prepared to get canceled on this hate train. I like the plot of Blades. I do. I enjoy it. It
I
does
love
remind me of
it.
some of my favorite like fantasy stuff,
Hmm.
kind of the same thing with Lucas. I also enjoy Skyrim. That was my shit. I did recently finish watching Shadow and Bone. That was really
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And, and I do like fantasy. It's not my top genre. It's not my top, but it's up there. But like to me, it's one of those things where it's like anybody could die and like it would just make sense to the plot. You know what I mean?
Yes, because okay, so I'm really obsessed with like this series called The Red Queen, which is just it's amazing. But like it's like a fantasy YA novel. But in the book, there's a lot of times where she's like, "Wow, like this person died, but I do not have time to cry. Like we have to
Mm-hmm.
go."
Yeah, because the people die in the middle of battle. That's the same thing that happened with Cade. Cade got trapped, and Rain didn't
Yes.
even get a fucking second to
Yes, he
breathe
just
after
had to
that
keep
shit.
going. But
Yeah,
Mal, he do talk too much because I'm like,
he do,
how
he do.
how are you a loner and a rogue, but you got the most to say? Like, come
Because he's
on, like,
lonely. The people who are like, I've learned not to have a home. I've learned that I can't have a home because that's too much drama. The people who are like, I only care about money. Those are the loneliest people, bruh. I already see there's a lot of therapy appointments in the future Dogma scenes I'm not prepared for. Because this man clearly like there's a scene in like one of the last Diamond scenes you get with him is like you can tell him that he needs like companionship.
hmm
And I'm like, the MC read him so fast.
so fucking
MC
fast.
gathered him up so
Absolutely.
quickly.
And that's why I fucks with Rain, because Rain is like, just Rain with it. Like, so far, Rain has not been problematic. Rain's been like, no, 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 we gotta go, we gotta do this, we have a mission, like, let's
Right.
go.
To a certain degree, Rain's relatable, right? Because Rain is just like
Yes.
looking for adventure, bored of
Yes.
the town that they grew up in, and is like ready to go, which like I know you and me can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I kind of fuck with Rain. I kind of fuck with Rain. Do you want to just go ahead and jump into it?
Let's
Because
do it.
we
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Let's just start with chapter one. The chapter is titled "The Adventure Begins," and yes, when we talk about Rain, we'll be talking about the default MC. That's their name. And I think in this book you can be either gender and you can be multiple races. So I just want to know what race did you pick?
I had to pick an elf. I just had to.
I
There was
picked an
just
elf
something.
too.
Bitch, I
Which
knew you
one?
did. Okay, listen, I was fucking with the blue
Here we go.
skin. The blue skin, I was really
Same.
like I really was like
Right.
I was gonna do the dark skin, but I was like, I don't know. I was like, the blue, it's the hair. It was like the ombre, like the darker
Mhm.
color that went to the.
Mhm.
I was like, I like this. I like this look.
I will say, like, that I did play Blades, like, when it first released. I promise you, I only remember that Cade got stuck in the shard. That's the only thing that I recall from that entire playthrough, which I only did probably up to chapter 4. But I remember when I first played, I was like, no, I want to play as a human. And it always felt like a cop out choice. I'll be 100% honest with you. I was like, I think I kind of fucked up playing as a human. So I went ahead and picked the elf this time because I was like, if we're going to do fantasy, we're going to do fantasy, bitch. We're going to do
Right,
fantasy.
we're
We're
gonna
going to be an
dive
elf.
in.
And
Absolutely.
every single time that I've ever played like an Elder Scrolls game and I had the option to pick my race, I've always been an elf.
Yeah, same.
But I usually pick the golden elf because they always have golden, blue, and then like black
hmm
with
I
red
think it's
eyes.
because like the depiction of elves are always like so intelligent but very like manipulative, and like
Yes,
I would
they're
like to
always the
be
bad
that.
guys.
Yes,
They're
yes.
literally always the bad guys.
Like absolutely, and I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Like in Skyrim, like everyone hates the fucking elves. And like if they see you and in Skyrim, we're going a lot of different places. I'm drinking. So there's a lot of things going on in my head, so just know that as you're listening to the podcast, if I start to kind of go sideways or on a tangent, that's why. But like in Skyrim, when you ran into that like group of 4 to 5 like high priestess elves or whatever,
Oh my
and if
god.
you even shoulder check those bitches, it was on site. They were so aggressive in that
When
game.
I tell you they would ice spike you to a fucking tree, and I'd be like, God damn. Come on.
Mhm. And I remember the only way they were nice with you is if you were also like a gold elf, but everyone in Skyrim fucking hated you if you were a gold elf.
And then like the Thalmar, one of like the biggest
Is that
groups.
the wooden one?
They're the ones that like that secret organization that was going against the Dragonborn. You had like to storm the castle. Half of them
Yeah.
was elves. They was all
Yeah.
elves.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, I miss Skyrim.
I
This
do.
is making me miss Skyrim. But I really just I can't pick up that controller again because that game took so many years off my
It's
life.
all consuming. Like the moment you
My life
start, you're
expectancy
done.
went down like at least like 4 years playing that game. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no, literally
I
same.
guarantee it because oh my god, and the story. Let me just move on.
We
let me
digress.
just
We
move.
digress.
Let me just move on. So let's return back to chapter 1 of Blades. So yes, we are going to be talking about the MC. Their name is going to be Rain. It's like gender of choice, race of choice, and when I say race, I mean like fucking species, like human, orc, elves. You get all of them. So the summary of chapter 1 says, create your character and rally your party in this truly epic adventure. The forces of darkness are rising. Will you be the light that defeats them? The genres are fantasy, RPG, and dungeons, which honestly, this is the best it has been.
I'm proud that they're able to do that because like that was
Yeah.
good. It wasn't like I don't know, like what would be a dumb fucking genre for them to say? I don't know. I can even think of one. That's how
Elves,
I elves, N-
orcs,
non-human.
lore, blades,
Right, right.
darkness,
Light, like literally just taking the word from
light.
the title to put
Yeah.
this genre.
I don't even know. Like maybe. Well, I was gonna say like advent, because you know how normally like for the nanny affair they put like CEO and for like open heart they put doctors. I was trying to think of
Right,
like an
right.
occupation. So I was about to be like adventurer, but like honestly that's still pretty. Like if you just take the out and it's just adventure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that'd still be a pretty good genre.
It would be. It's very broad. Like what adventure?
It's good. Let me tell you, they did a good job, but it was easy. That's the
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
Okay, before we get on with the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt with some plugs. So you can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/message. It could show up in a future episode. You can also directly support this podcast at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/support. If we haven't convinced you yet, listen to this amazing, amazing commercial that Lucas and I put together for you. It
In
takes
the
me
arms
hours.
of an angel.
It takes me, no, keep singing. It takes me
I
hours to record. No, keep doing it.
Here
It takes me
are
hours to record and edit this podcast.
wherever you
And
are.
with your donation
I believe
of
that
$1 a
my
month
heart will
could save V from
go
smashing her fucking head into a
on.
wall.
Why does the heart
Thank you so much. And back to our episode. Can I also go on a mini rant about genres not even necessarily related
Absolutely.
to Blades? So someone brought this up and it truly just hit me so hard in the fucking face when they said it. I can't remember if it was said while I was on Twitch. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, we play Romance Club on Twitch, twitch.tv/playchoicespodcast. Okay. So I can't remember if it was on Twitch or Twitter, and at playchoicespod on Twitter. But on one of the two platforms, someone mentioned, oh no, it was Twitch. It was Choices Oof. Ari. Love her. She's great. Always excited when she pops my notifications, she pops in push chat. But Ari mentioned that like the genres and choices are very, very annoying. Their genres never actually tie back to the search function in the menu. Like, okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 genres. Exciting adventures, romantic comedy, romantic drama, horror, sci-fi and fantasy, suspenseful mysteries, young adult, steamy stories, vacation of a lifetime, tying the knot, heartwarming holidays. Not necessarily bad genres, but why is it that like you never mention these genres whenever we click on chapter 1 and it says genres in the bottom?
Yeah, why
Y'all
is
just
that?
arbitrarily put in like Tumblr tags or hashtags on a
Absolutely.
story and it doesn't even tie back to the search function.
I'm okay. I'm gonna click vacation of a lifetime, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
let's do foreign affairs. How is foreign affairs vacation of a lifetime?
Oh.
What? That has nothing to do with the fucking plot. Our MC said, I do not want to go to this college. What? Case in point. Case in point.
Okay, I want to click on. What should I click on? Young adult. Mm. Foreign affairs is also under young adult, even though our bitch is supposed to be a grad student. A young adult is like 18 through like 20, right?
22. Right, like
18
22
to 22. We'll give a
max.
grace period.
Max. Yeah.
22, you've just finished. I mean, I guess maybe they. A real slippery slope on that one, choices. A real slippery slope on that one.
Steamy stories. Let's see.
Uh-huh.
I mean, now I know this is a damn lie.
Laws of attraction?
Bitch, laws of Stop. How did you know? How did you know? That's Steamy. Bitch, my shower is cold. My shower is ice cold. Ain't nothing steamy.
The water pressure in the shower is bad.
Wow, they reaching. Okay, they really reaching. Interesting.
Is open heart steamy? Okay, I got to close this app because I just can't keep doing this to myself.
Oh god.
Oh, let's get back to chapter 1. So the chapter begins with a flashback showing an elven king named Zaius who is overlooking a battlefield. Can I also just say, like we said, like the first 2 chapters of fantasy, the first 2 episodes or 20 minutes or something, whatever media you're consuming fantasy over, are the most dense, plot thick shit ever. So like we're really gonna try to introduce some discussion in here, but it's thick.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
thick
It's
with 3
very.
C's.
Oh,
It's a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah, so this elven king dude, his name's Zaius, he's looking over a battlefield. There's a shadow monster that attacks him, and he defeats it quickly using a blade of light. So clearly we're seeing this mechanism of like light and darkness already. Zaius will turn to his second in command, who is a battle mage named Ilara. So the two begin talking, hopefully about the war that they're in, and they're saying like, oh, it looks like we're gonna win. All of a sudden, this monster appears in the background called the Dreadlord, which honestly, can I just say, looks like a giant Groot.
It
It
does.
looks like Groot.
Yeah, it looks like a
It's
giant
Groot.
dark
It's
Groot.
Dark Groot.
It's literally
His
dark green, and it's
bathroom.
so funny because the moment that bitch popped up, she was like, "What do we do?" And he said, "Fight, die." I said, "Well, damn. Oh, okay."
Yeah, no, he
I
pretty
was
much
like,
just said die and
"Wow,
hope that someone comes back to avenge us. I said this is the
yeah."
most heavy-handed introduction I have seen in a while.
Now that death was so quick to the point, like they already knew. Why was it not the same for that old man that we're gonna talk about in a little bit? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I think because the Dreadlord, like the narration that we've gotten from the first two chapters, make it seem like the Dreadlord is like super, 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 super powerful. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like the Dreadlord was like super. Dreadlord probably pisses darkness and shadow. You know what I mean? That's probably how powerful the Dreadlord's body odor comes off as black smoke.
He's so
Like that's
powerful,
what he
you
looks
don't
like.
even have time to fight for your life. Like it's just
No,
an
the moment you
automatic
make eye contact with
KO.
him, he's basically Medusa. If you really think about it, is how I'm imagining this
Oh
man.
my god. Oh my god. I love
But
it.
yeah, like Lucas said, the Dreadlord is very tough, very, very hard to defeat. And his eyes is pretty much like, we gonna die, and then the scene ends. It comes to present day, which is apparently 2,000 years in the future after, the previous scene. The setting is a quiet town called Riverbend, and inside a place called the Dancing Pig Tavern, a group of people are talking. So we're introduced to Rain and Cade, who are retelling the story of how the Dreadlord defeated the Elven Kingdom. So the narration will tell us that Cain, the MC, and Cade survived a massacre and were rescued and raised by a farmer as siblings. So, I mean, it's always interesting to see the direction that choices goes with these type of narration because sometimes they be like really just telling you directly in the narration like who these characters are and how they relate to each other, and other times you really got to piece that shit out just through the dialogue. And this game said we don't have time, there's too much world building we have to do, you need to know that these two are siblings but they're not related, and that's why you're an orc and he's a human.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, it was so cut and dry.
Uh-huh, it said we were rescued from a massacre, and I said okay bro.
I accepted Kate automatically. I said, okay, bro,
Mm-hmm.
bro. I said, all right,
You have
brother.
no time to
Like,
question it.
no, at all. At
You're not
all.
given the opportunity. Both will leave the tavern and they'll bump into a character whose name is Mal Valori, who is a world famous adventurer, and he is followed by the town constable Angus. I will say right now, I do not know what a constable is. I did not bother to look it up. I don't know who this man is, but this man's name's Angus, like Angus beef. And he has an apprentice whose name is Gren. So Gren will very excitingly reveal that Mal is looking for an ancient artifact that is worth a lot of money. Rain will offer to come because Rain kind of had dialogue a little bit in the scene earlier with Kay talking about how they were bored of Riverbend and they wanted to go on an adventure. So Rain's like, "Guess bitch, this is my chance." But Mal's like, no, rejects the offer and tells them to go learn some skills before adventuring. So the fact that skills is capitalized, I mean, from the get go, you know that's going to be a mechanic in the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So we're then prompted to choose our first skill. So the in-game description says that these skills will help us overcome challenges, gain allies, and get new scenes. Let me just explain how the skill mechanic is like organized. So the skill mechanic is like three categories of skills, three
Hmm.
main categories, and each category has three skills. And then there's some like elite skills that I don't know how we're going to get those. I don't know if you have to reach a certain level of XP or whatever, but there's some elite skills that as up to chapter 2 we don't know how to get them. We seem to just be, being offered the basic introductory skills. So the three themes for skills are combat, diplomacy, and survival, and we're able to pick for combat and diplomacy first. So the three skills for combat are blades, brawling, and bows, and diplomacy is seduction, charisma, and deception, and you only get to pick one from each category. So which ones did you pick?
I picked archery and deception.
Okay, what bitch? Huh? Cause
What?
same.
Bitch, why are we the same person? I hate
Why
you.
did we literally pick the same thing?
Guys, there's not gonna be much variation in me.
I'm so sorry. I really thought we would come with two different points of views, but I think apparently not. So let me just say also, because I was playing the walkthrough and I got up to this point, I picked my two skills, went to the walkthrough. And bitch, they told us that for maximum XP, you need bows and seduction. I said, well, it's too late now. I said, I guess I'll just be a weak bitch. Because I thought about seduction, but like, y'all ever play Fallout? And if you play as a female character, they're talk about like there's always whichever gender you pick in Fallout, there's always like a perk where you can seduce the other opposite sex. Well, they had opposite sex through Fallout 3, and then in Fallout New Vegas, they finally opened that shit up because they were like, yeah, people can be queer. So they finally opened it up to where no matter what gender you picked, you could choose to romance the same gender. But I've always picked something like that in games because I'm a whore. But I was like, maybe I should just keep it PG-13 for the sake of this book. So that's why I went with Deception. And I went with bows because obviously I'm a Hunger Games fan. And I have just always wanted to be Katniss Everdeen. So in every game I've ever played, I've always picked the bows.
Me. I said offensively, it'd be good, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, I understand, you know, seduction is in its own category, but how is deception not, you know, like, if it's a Venn diagram, seduction is definitely in deception.
Well, it also makes me like very upset because why have y'all built this game where like certain choices will get you like why can't we all just get the equal opportunity to getting experience and just get different scenes?
Right.
Like I'm mad that you have to pick bows and seduction in order to get the most XP.
It's supposed to be fighting for my life, not opening my legs for my life. You know, like.
And what if I'm a person who's like asexual and I don't want to pick that?
Right.
Because I don't want to read scenes about fucking other people.
Do better choices.
I was a little bit disappointed in that. I understand that like writing multiple scenes and all these scenarios are difficult, but like your ad name's choices. I feel like I'm being very mean because I'm drunk.
No, that's very much like, you know, it's
Right.
choices. If you went to a chicken place and they were out of chicken, then like, you know, you would not let them live it down.
Right. When I walk into the choices library, I want it to be like a Walmart shelf. Like I want there to be
Absolutely.
so many options that it's almost like impossible to pick because they're all good. And like you need to be able to I want all the options to be the same quality. I don't want to feel like I'm picking charisma and brawling and then I'm like, well, I only got to use it twice.
Right.
Like y'all just out here you know what? They pick a seduction because seduction will get people to buy diamond scenes. That's why.
Yep.
I don't know why they pick bows. The bows thing, you would think it'd be Blaze because it's Blaze of Light and Shadow. So you would think the one that would get you the most XP would be Blades. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm not about to figure it out on this podcast. So that's my complaint. Hello. So the game will then say that more skills can be unlocked by earning XP, which we get by making the right choices, defeating enemies, and passing skill checks. So afterwards, Rain will confide in Kay that she's bored and she wants to go on more adventures, like Mal does, when suddenly a young woman in priestess robes runs into the town square before crashing into Rain. So she introduces herself as, oh boy, did I try to practice pronouncing this? No. Nia Alarius, I think. And she describes herself as a light priestess. Her and her mentor were attacked by an owl bear, which I love when fantasy tropes just take two totally normal creatures and make them one.
I love it. It's literally
I
my
love
favorite
it.
thing. I
It's
love
the
it.
complete lack of creativity for me. But this is not a drag against choices because literally every fantasy
Everyone
game
does
ever
it.
has done
Yeah.
this.
Absolutely.
It's just what you do when you need a monster that's kind of intimidating, but you don't want to break out the big boys yet.
Yes.
You know? Because you're like, I have scary shit, but it's the first chapter of the book and I can't bring that bitch out yet.
And also, like, because you're combining two animals, there's just certain, like, you already know, like, what you're getting into. Because, like, when I heard owlbear, I said, okay, so they big as fuck, they smart, and they nocturnal. Like, that's automatically what I
Right.
thought. Like, I'm like, oh, God.
And
I
I
was like,
don't
here
know
we
what it
go.
was, and I saw it, and I like sighed, but then I was like, what were you expecting?
Yeah.
It's an owl bear.
Yes.
I was like, what was I really expecting there?
Right.
So Nia basically comes, bumps into Rain and says, like, hey, I need some help defeating this monster. So on the way to defeating the monster, which of course, like, Rain accepts because Rain wants to go on an adventure, Cade will give advice that owl bears fear fire and are very easily startled. So Rain will attack the beast, and if your character is an elf, you are also able to dodge their attack using your heightened elven senses. So I guess high five for us for picking elf. Rain will scare the beast off, and Nia will thank them. So during the scene, it is relatively easy to gain enough XP to get a survival skill, so you can pick either Medicine, Beastmaster, or Woodsthor. Which one did you pick?
I was in the moment, so I chose Beast Tamer. I regret it. I
Okay.
feel like I should have went with Medicine, honestly.
I picked Medicine because the walkthrough
Mm-hmm.
told me you get more XP.
Ugh, I should have picked Medicine.
Is
I
This
should have
is
picked
just like
Medicine.
60 minutes of us regretting all of our choices because
Absolutely.
this fucking XP mechanic.
I tamed an owl beast for fucking 2 seconds and then never saw that skill again, and I was like, oh my god.
I will say, if it makes you feel better, at the end of chapter 2, the walkthrough does encourage you to pick a Beastmaster.
Oh, okay,
So you
good. A
didn't
little
totally fuck up. I
foreshadowing.
think you just picked it. You just picked it a little early, baby. But it's okay. We all get a little too excited,
Right,
in
right,
picking.
right.
It's fine. Before we continue with the rest of the episode, I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, theories, or comments that you would like to be included in a future episode, please email us at playchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to specify whether you want to be shouted out or not, otherwise all emails will be anonymous. Questions can be related to books we've recorded episodes on, books that we haven't discussed yet, or even questions that you'd like to ask us. Alternatively, you can go to our Ask box on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com and submit a question. Just specify that it's for the podcast and we'll be sure to include it. And back to our episode. So after we get to meet Nia's mentor, whose name is Vash Valerin, and he's a actual High Priestess of the Light, we learn that Nia is a novice and has actually never used her powers in battle, which is like, why should have run to us?
Why you do that to
Vash,
her?
yeah, right. He really just outed her. He said, "It's okay, baby. I know you don't know shit. So I knew you could not possibly save my life. So thank you for finding two strangers to do it for me." How you a high priest of the light and you don't know how
Say it
to fight an
again.
owl bear?
Say it. Listen, the amount of dialogue that is written in the plot where it says like she has been doing this all her life. Where?
Uh-huh.
How old are you?
No.
8? Because what? Like, where?
You said this bitch is in preschool.
Every other scene, she's like, "Yeah, I've lived there all my life. This is what I've been training for all my life. I've been doing this all my
Right.
life." And I'm like,
Right.
"Girl, what?
Say it again. Say it
Where?"
again. Say it again. Because the way that this bitch was like, I was adopted by Temple of Light or whatever the fuck it's called, and this is all I've ever known. And then she was like, I know my mentor better than I know like my own parents. And it's like, well, I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome for her getting kidnapped by that damn temple, but like I don't think they helped you as much as you claim that they did, because the
No,
way
they
that she
didn't.
literally can't do anything.
Anything.
Like, baby girl, you're still using training wheels to
Absolutely.
cast magic. So I don't know if she's 15 or 14 and like she only just got her permit last year to do this.
Right.
But it's not good. It's really not good.
I mean, I'm over here learning 4 skills in 2 chapters, and she can't save the person who she loves the most. Like, I just can't.
Right, and you couldn't even save your daddy. Oh no,
tragic.
Nia. That's the roast of the fucking episode. You couldn't even save your daddy. I'm sorry to say it. So, Bash will reveal that they're on a pilgrimage to visit all of the light temples in the kingdom, and they're looking for a nearby temple of Alara. Bash will offer Rain and Kate 30 gold for their protection, and of course, they accept. So, after setting up camp for the night, Nia reveals that she lost her bracelet of light crystals, and without it, she's weaker. The game will introduce a new mechanic. I don't know if it's really a new mechanic. They kind of just rebranded like diamond scenes as side quests, pretty much. But now we're calling them side quests. And the side quest is basically a diamond scene where you can strengthen relationships with characters and find treasure or gear. I will say most of the side quests you don't actually gain XP. It's just kind of like to the benefit of the character to like get an item. So I don't know if you like I haven't seen a scene yet where you directly gain XP as a result of the scene. It's usually a relic or something that helps you out like later in the book.
But honestly, like, side quests is a little bit more appealing than diamond scenes, because just like,
yeah,
you know,
it does give you the impression that there's actually something to be gained.
exactly,
by the end of it.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I fully understand your point. So did you take this?
Yeah, girl, I said we got to get you more powerful because, child, you can't do nothing.
I will 100% say I did not take the scene. I think I took every other side quest scene in the book. I think I was trying to be cheap and not
Mm-hmm.
spend diamonds, but then it got to a certain point where I was just like, clearly y'all need me to spend diamonds because
Yeah.
you really can't do shit if you don't spend diamonds in this book.
No, you can't. Like,
That's the one thing I'll say about books that are kind of more like adventure or plot driven is that like I feel like the romance books you can kind of enjoy them for what they are without needing
mm-hmm.
to spend diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
But with the adventure and like non-romance plot driven books, it's really essential that you spend diamonds.
Yeah, you got to pay that coin a little bit.
Yeah, you absolutely have to be willing to like take some of your rent money and put it towards the game because otherwise it's really difficult. So if you take the scene, we learn that Nia grew up in the capital. The name of the capital is White Tower, but she didn't get to see much of it due to being adopted by the Light Temple as a baby, and she was like just apparently so busy with fucking training that she never saw the city, which was a complete waste of time, to be honest with you.
A
Because she
couple,
doesn't know how to do
you
anything. I'm like, baby, you might as well have taken vacation.
you could have did some sightseeing
Right. Yeah. So she was like, I was so hardworking. How are you almost a priestess, but you still don't know how to fight?
at
What are they teaching
all.
you over there? Are y'all literally just learning how to heal?
When her mentor was about to die and he said, "No, save your strength." I said, "She can't do both." I said, "She can't
Oh,
heal you and then just kind of like not do anything for her next chapter or so." Like,
it's not like she was doing much, anyways.
right? He made it seem like if you try to heal me, you'll get hurt. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh, so Nia will say she's decided to be a priestess, but acknowledges that she kind of like lacks experience. And then you will retrieve her bracelet and also get a chance to flirt with her. And the next morning, the group will approach the Light Temple and discover that there are many dead bodies on the steps of the temple. And among the bodies is Constable Angus, Constable Beef, Constable Cattle, and Grun. So that's where it ends for chapter 1. So let's move on to chapter 2, which is titled Of Loss and Legends. The summary says you reach the temple of Elora to find someone already there and they're out for blood. What ancient secrets lurk within its walls? So this chapter picks up from where chapter 1 left off. Cade will recall that Grunt and Angus were with Mal, and Rain can either say that they think Mal killed them or decide that Mal didn't. So at this moment, at this very moment, before you learn anything else about Mal, what did you pick?
I said that he didn't do it. Just because it did, and it's funny because like I said he didn't do it, and like the Rain's train of thought was exactly what I was thinking because like he didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know the area well enough to like find it by himself.
It seemed like I could see him. I'm not putting it past Mal because like I don't really know
Right.
enough about his character at this point to like say he would or wouldn't. But it literally wouldn't even make logical sense to enlist the help of two people and then slaughter them before you even hit the steps of the temple.
Absolutely, because you don't know what's inside. And secondly, can we
Right.
talk about how when I chose that decision, I got experience, but I don't get experience for getting this bitch her bracelet? Like, I was just so confused. Like, I
Ooh.
was like, how the hell did we gain experience in this fucking chapter?
They try to pay it off by being like, oh, she saves you from the Shadow Hound, but at the same time, it's like Mal does that anyways, even if she can't. So, like, I don't really. Did I just spend diamonds to see magic? Pretty much, I think. I think I just spent diamonds to see her do a
Oh
little bit of
my
magic.
god. A little bit, minute amount.
Yeah, a very tiny, insignificant amount of magic was done in exchange for diamonds. Okay, I also said that Mal didn't do it because I was just like, this just seems kind of silly. And if you pick that he didn't do it, you will get extra XP. Cade will mention that the artifact that Mal was looking for, and Vash acknowledges that the rumors of an onyx shard existing in the temple are actually probably true. Onyx shards are relics from the Shadow Court left behind after the Great War. They are cursed and apparently very powerful, and Vash will become very desperate upon hearing this and tells the group that they need to protect the shard at all costs. So the group will venture into the temple and find a green crystal. Vash will pocket this for later to study whenever they return to White Tower. They made a really big deal about it and like never mentioned it, so I don't know if that's gonna come up in future chapters.
Exactly, because when he died, it's not like someone took it off his body.
Yeah, they like made a whole fucking like art thing for it and everything, but then like
Mm-hmm.
it never got brought up. So I don't know if we're just assuming that Nia like pickpocketed that shit and is gonna like bring
Right.
it back up. I don't know. And it's not like we know what it's good for because he was like, I don't even know what this shit does. We'll figure it out. Maybe. I don't no, actually I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so during the exploration, Cade will suggest a side quest where him, Nia, and Rain will explore the ruins more and find a relic. Did you take the scene?
Yeah, hell yeah, because
Yeah.
this just gave me like this setup was even more because like the first one I was just like, girl, let's get you a little bit more power. This one I was like, oh, this seems like fun and mischievous. Like I'm so down for this.
Right. Like, honestly, because we obviously know that at this point, like, Cade and Rain they're in it for the money. So I was like, if y'all can rob the temple, just do it. I mean, Nia and Vash can't stop your ass.
Oh,
They couldn't
absolutely
even defeat an
not.
owl bear.
Yeah, right.
So, like, these are officially, and they had to ask us for help. How are you a high?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How?
How? And this is information that we learn like later on in the chapter. But how was this religion developed to like literally protect the world from the Shadow Court and like apparently be the first defense, the first line of defense against the Shadow Court? But like y'all can't take down an owl bear.
At all
Like
whatsoever.
the religion must really be declining. Like
And math is
seriously.
math, like because like we could get 30 coin or we can get your 30 and get more. You know? Like
Right.
it's just basic math.
So like y'all two are probably the least intimidating group of people I've ever seen. So like I absolutely will take the gold right in front of your face. Because 30 gold, I mean, it's money, but like is that real? Do we know if it's a lot? It doesn't seem like it.
Mm, no, it does. I mean, I don't know. I guess we don't know what the unit of measurement for money is here.
I'll be honest though, Rain and Cade seem kind of poor.
Oh no, they are.
I'm
First of
sorry,
all,
broke. That was rude. I meant broke.
um, 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 do not have the same advantages as other people.
Correct. We're born in a different social class than other
Yeah,
people.
you know, cause like chapter one, as the story's getting like set up and stuff, they're like begging for drinks, and I'm like, oh, this is sad.
Yeah, they can't even afford ale. First of all, and Mal made the same comment where he was like, "I'm only adventuring to afford a tavern tab," and I'm like, what are the prices? What's the economy looking like? Because like a beer at a regular bar at like realistically anywhere from $3 to $5 for a bottle, like
Absolutely,
realistically.
absolutely.
So what is this? What are they serving? And what are y'all buying?
Yes,
Where it's like they're like, oh, can you come to a temple with us? A temple that's been like abandoned. We don't know what's in it for years. And they're like, yeah, 30 coin is all I need. I
right.
will do it for 30 coin.
Not an issue. On the way.
Right. Rain said, put the coordinates in my GPS. We're going. Yeah, to me, it's not enough. To me, the price they paid was not enough. I also took it just because I wanted XP and didn't get it. Got a gold orb. So if you do take the diamond scene, you will walk towards the Hall of Gods, and during the walk, Cade will open up and reveal that he is usually the type to read about adventures instead of actually doing them, but he is excited to actually be adventuring. So we gain like a little bit of like kind of insecurity, I think, from Cade's side, where he opens up about the fact that like he's usually a writer, he likes to read about stories, he likes to write them, but doesn't like to be involved with them, and that this adventure is kind of giving him like hope that he can actually be an adventurer like Rain, which is kind of endearing. But also, you kind of know that the moment that a character starts talking about the future, it's kind of over for them,
Absolutely.
right?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. The moment a character starts to get hopeful, it's too late.
The moment he said that, I said, "Damn." I said, "You next." I said, "Oh."
Yeah, I said you're next. Especially the fact that he's never been adventuring and like he just likes telling a story. Is like this man has no survival skills.
Oh, absolutely. Literally, the moment he said that, I said, "Oh, so this is the push I need to finish this book." Got it.
Right.
Because you're trying to also find the MC's like main inspiration to like
Their quest.
continue
You
on
got to
this.
figure out
Yeah,
the MC's quest.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I said, "Oh, this is it." Got it.
Yep. Absolutely. So when they get to the Hall of Gods, the group will come across a creature that they are able to quickly dispel, and the creature drops a gold orb. What a solid gold orb is supposed to do, other than maybe, I don't know, are we gonna go to a tavern and like blow it out on a party scene? I don't really know what this is supposed to do. It's just literally just gold. How heavy is this? Rain can carry this? I really really need to not drink during these podcasts because I feel like I'm hyper focusing on the details.
What I love is like we went from like having no gold to the option of 30 gold to now gold is literally surrounding us and like no
Yeah,
one's
we're
talking
literally
about it.
bathing
Like
in it. We're bathing in it, and just because Nia gave us a disapproving look, we're like, we can't grab it. Fuck that shit. I'm taking that shit. Let's move on. When the group returns, Vash has opened the door, and in the next chamber, there are a group of thugs that enter with Mal. The thugs are threatening to kill Mal if he doesn't open a box in the middle of the chamber. Mal will try to procrastinate opening the box when a tall, dark figure appears in the room. The figure clearly has an aura of dark energy around them, and Cade recognizes the figure as Duke Earthax, I think is how you pronounce it. This person is the Duke of the Shadow Court who followed the Dreadlord from the Great War, like 2,000 years ago. So this confuses Rain since he was rumored to die in the Great War. Like, apparently he was murdered and, like, did not survive with the rest of the rogue elves. There's a lot of background. I really don't want to get into. We'll get into it at the end. There's a lot of shit that I was like,
yeah,
huh?
it's so much. And they drop it at the most
Yeah.
random time.
Yeah.
Like
Like, you get a little hint of what's going on, and then they're like, bam, he worked for the Dreadlord. Bam, he was supposed to die. Bam, the Shadow Court. And I'm like, I have no
yeah.
idea what any of
What
these
yes.
components are. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, Duke Earthax, Duke Earwax,
Right,
in the Shadow
right.
Court, Dreadlord, and I'm putting it in my little pocketbook for later because
Absolutely.
otherwise I have no fucking idea what's going on. And they wait until the end of chapter 2 to give you any semblance of like a complete background story.
Absolutely.
Which I also feel like again is a very common thing to do in fantasy. This is not us like poking fun at Pixelberry specifically. This is just what they do. Like I think even Shadow of Bone was the same way, where they were
Oh
like
yeah.
Grisha, and it wasn't until like episode 3 where they're like, yeah, Grisha are magic people who like live forever,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, okay,
Yes.
finally someone explained it. Thank you very much. Alright, before we move on to the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt to plug our socials. We are at Play Choices Podcast on Instagram and at Play Choices Pod on Twitter. You can also go to playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com for our Tumblr page, which is where I post any episode notes that I have, like links to posts I've mentioned, photos I've mentioned, or more. We're also available for listening on all major platforms, so if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, and subscribe. It's a funky thing with the algorithm that helps us a lot. I wish I could explain it more in depth, but I just know that it helps us. So we do appreciate any reviews that you leave us. And as always, we are a growing podcast. So if you see us pop up on your socials, we do appreciate a share, a retweet, or a reblog, depending on the platform you see us on. We also appreciate it when you share our podcast with your fellow Choices loving friends. And now back to the episode. So Mal is actually able to unlock the box when Earwax insists that he does, and he gets the Onyx Shard. So the Duke will reach for the shard, but Mal will activate a trap and will start to run with the shard. So Earthax will attack, making Mal drop the shard, and it slides in front of Cade. So Cade's like, I'm gonna be the hero, which he made a wrong decision because Cade picks it up and the shard crackles with a lot of energy and ends up trapping Cade inside the shard, which transports Cade into the shadow realm, our realm of shadow.
Right.
That's another thing about fantasy books. They loved, instead of just saying shadow realm, they're like the realm of
Realm
shadow.
of Shadows. Yeah.
My throat's gonna be so dry by the end of this episode. They just elongating shit. It's like Yoda. Like, oh my god.
Yes, yes.
Just use succinct like English. Why are we talking like this? And Rain, who is very determined to not leave Cade behind, will grab the shard with some protected hands and runs. So Earthax summons these. I don't know if they're called Shadow Hounds or Dark Hounds. I think I'm gonna go back and forth between those two because I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But Earthax will summon Dark Hounds, which will chase the group out of the temple. Nia will save them if you did get her bracelet from earlier, and if you don't, Mal will. So either way, very pointless scene. Kind of glad I didn't put diamonds on it, because basically we were just paying diamonds to watch her like do magic.
Be useful for 1
Right.
second.
Right, exactly. So Vash is attacked by a Shadow Hound, and Rain will save him, but it's not before Vash is very badly injured. Mal and Rain will attempt to, pick up Vash and carry him out of the temple, but he is pierced by darkness from Earthax. Even though the group escapes, Vash does state that the darkness has already poisoned him and that he likely cannot be saved. So once the group is out of danger, Rain and Mal will argue, with Rain insisting that Mal stick around until they can release Cade from the shard. There is a side quest to spend more time with Mal as he gathers food for 20 diamonds. Did you take this?
I did, because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why is he so arrogant?
Here's my opinion that's going to get me canceled. I really don't give a shit about Mal. I just wanted the relic. Like, that's all that I want.
After the scene, I said, oh, okay, cool. You're like
A
literally
walking stereotype.
Can we talk about it, V? Can we talk about it?
Yeah,
I was
yes, we
like, God,
can.
Jesus. I'm like, oh my God.
He's like, I'm callous and sarcastic because no one's ever loved me. And I'm like, welcome to the origin story of every male character ever.
Right, right.
Literally. You're so edgy, Mal.
And then, of
Love
course,
you.
our MC has to be an orphan that just lost his adopted brother.
Yeah.
Like,
So Rain's like, I can totally relate. Oh my God, you're so deep.
it was cringy.
I'm being such an ass right now, but like
It was
it really
cringy. The scene
people
was cute.
yeah,
You don't need the backstory to make the scene cute. Like if they were
right.
just like play fighting trying to get that fruit, that's fine. But like the
Right.
dialogue with it, I was like, oh my God. I said we is in cliche land right now.
Yes, absolutely. And Mal, and like, I'm not, if you romance Mal and you like him, I promise you, this is not, you enjoy whatever the fuck you want in these interactive fiction books because it's really not that serious. And like, I'm not trying to put anyone down. But for me, like, Mal is just one of those really, really popular fandom characters I just personally can't see the appeal of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, it's not that he's ugly, but like, I also don't particularly find him like super attractive. But also it's just like his, like you said, his origin story is just full of cliche, cliche, cliche. Oh,
Yes,
no one ever
yes.
loved me. I never had a sound home. So now I only prioritize material things because I can't depend on people.
And again, like
Bam.
you need the storyline, you need the artwork, you need the ability to like the enticement of like trying to grow stronger to
Mhm.
push this book forward because the allies,
Mhm.
they are not it. You hear me? They are not it.
And let me tell you, that's going to be the most unpopular opinion that we have ever had. Probably next to Ethan Ramsey sucks because people in Blades go crazy for the allies. Maybe there's something that in the future that's going to change our minds, but for right now, to me, Nia and Mal are walking cliches, which is fine.
It's
It's
yeah, it's
fine.
fine. It's
It's
fine.
fantasy. Literally every writer of every fantasy novel ever has done these cliches. I'm not
Yeah.
judging Pixelberry for using them. Lean on what you can, boo, to get a good story. But like, I'm just saying personally, there's really nothing about the allies as of yet that I'm like goo goo gaga for.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Glad we
Yeah,
can
like
hold hands on
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's a hill that we will die on. And
Yeah.
listen,
Maybe. I might change my mind come chapter
right,
6.
I was
It
about to
just depends what
say, yes,
happens.
because I literally was about to say, our bodyguards, our choosers, they know, like, we
You
can
know,
admit when
y'all
we're
know that we're
wrong.
messy, and you know that we have bad
Yes,
takes. This is not a
yes.
surprise.
Like, if you heard the beginning of Nanny Affair to the end, like, we changed our mind about that book so many fucking times. Like,
First of all, yeah, and also if you actually listen to all of our episodes about the nanny affair, I don't do not judge me. I will come for you. I know who you are. I know who listens to our nanny affairs episode with guilty pleasure, so you cannot come to me and say that this is a bad take. Because
right.
all of the nanny affair is a bad
It's
take.
a
And not
bad
only did you
take.
play it, but you listened to us. We're like one step worse than them because we actually took the time to take notes and record. But
Right,
they're just as bad at us because they played the book and they listened to all the podcast episodes. So I don't want to hear anyone come for me about this.
right, right.
You
I'm
know,
with you.
I want to fuck Robin. You know I'm
Yes,
full of bad takes. That's all I'm full of.
yes.
Every opinion I've ever had about choices is wrong. So I don't want to hear shit. I also took the side quest. Like I said, Mal is not interesting to me. I just wanted that relic. So I will say it's more of kind of a character building scene than anything else. Mal opens up about his past as he got into adventuring to make money, and that adventuring is more comfortable to him because it allows him to travel, as he is uncomfortable with the idea of having a set home. During the scene, Mal shows Rain how to cook the fruit that they gather to make into a salve, and Rain acquires a healing salve, which, you know, if you got injured in the previous scene, you just kind of use immediately, but if you didn't and you picked the right choice, then you will just save it for later. So the next morning, Rain will stumble across a lore tablet which contains information on the world in Blades. It's 15 diamonds to get and it gives you XP. Did you get it?
It said gives you XP. I said, yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
I clicked yes so fast. Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna go ahead and head out with this.
I
relic
refuse to be
here.
a level 1 computing in a level 50 world.
Yeah.
Like, I will
yeah,
not do it. I will not do it. So Vash will wake up and confirm that he is dying, which we kind of already knew, but he's dying. So Vash retells the story of the Great War, saying that a group of rogue elves wanted to live forever and they discovered a new dimension of shadow. The king at the time discovered this group and started a civil war to try to defeat them. The rogue elves were banished and sent to the realm of shadow and there assembled into a shadow court. The Church of Light was founded to keep them there and to protect the dark artifacts so they didn't fall into the wrong hands. The next part is like an AMA for Vash right before he dies. There's a lot of info here, so I'm just gonna say all of it and just bear with me. So Vash confirms that if we get an onyx shard, it can be purified at a temple of light, which would render them useless for the Shadow Court. And we also learn that there are 4 shards in total. Vash also says that there were 25 rogue elves in total, so now we gotta worry about 24 other elves. And I don't know if they're all 25 are gonna pop up. I'm kind of stressed out about it, to be honest.
And also, I think in the dialogue they said that that's only going to stop him from now. So, like, the guy that we just battled, he's not even dead. We just threw some rocks on him.
No, he definitely did not die. He's definitely gonna pop up with 25 of his friends, and we only have like
Yeah.
2 people. We have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We also learned that there is some hope to free Cade from the Shadow Realm, but only if he resists the darkness. There's a moment where Vash starts to reveal to us like how Cade could survive the Shadow Realm, but then he dies. So he dies when we needed him the most, and Nia loses her mentor. Nia's pretty devastated. MC can give her some words of encouragement. There's also an option where you can just leave her alone, which is kind of savage.
I said, because that's exactly what I chose. I said, I'm going to let her be.
Oh. And at the end of the scene, Nia will enlist Mal and MC to defeat the Shadow Court. So at some point in this chapter, you may also get to level up and pick a new skill. Did you get to this? And if so, which one did you pick?
No, I couldn't. I was 5 away. I was 5 fucking points away.
Because you medicine. So I did get the option to get a new skill, and I picked a Beastmaster, again, because of the walkthrough.
Well, that just means when I do level up, I gotta get medicine.
Honestly, a part of me was like, maybe I should just pick Seduction, because like I didn't pick it the first time around, but I don't know. I was very easily influenced by the walkthrough. And with that's the end of chapter 2 of Blaze and Light and Shadow. So I think we're pretty much at the discussion portion of the podcast, which I guess all of it's a discussion portion. So we're at the final discussion portion of the podcast. So I guess we can do rapid fire. How are you feeling about MC?
Oh, love him. Dedicated. I'm gonna say dedicated, like that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Rain, they're cool people so far. I really don't have anything bad to say about them. Okay, Nia?
Useless.
Yeah, same. Mal?
A baby. Giving me very pick me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I will say does give off very high pick me energy.
Because, like, let's be honest, the only reason why he wants to make a name for himself is because no one fucks with him.
He's needy and lonely.
Mm-hmm. Desperate.
Yeah. Same energy as Mona from Ride or Die does, which is like, I will push you away before you even have the chance to embrace me.
Absolutely.
But it's secretly a cry for help.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Got her on the same page. Cade.
That's it. Just the noise. Like.
Yeah, I just feel bad.
Like,
Cade
how is it
better.
that the only one that I was like, well, other than obviously the MC, but I like Cade's character because I feel like people really underestimate the information that someone can give in the group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, truly, like, Cade, like, read every fucking book ever, which is why every single time we went up against an enemy, Cade was, like, there to tell us how to defeat it. And truly, no one else seemed to have that skill other than, like, maybe Mal, because he's been in a lot of adventures. So I'm kind of worried about the future of our group, to be honest.
Right. We're not even gonna know who we fighting. Like, Cade gonna be in the damn realm of shadows. Like, oh my god, why are they trying to fight him like this? Like, why?
Is that pretty much everyone important who we met, right? Like
Yeah, that's it. Everybody else
Val.
is dead.
Yeah, everyone else died. So obviously, rest in peace. And love you, miss you. Thanks for being a part of the journey. And then pretty much like all we have left is bingo. So I did make a bingo for this.
Love
Again,
that.
based off of a lot of common fantasy tropes. And let's just start with the very first one, which is that the fate of the world lays with the chosen one.
No, I'm not.
I will
No.
say we don't have enough
Exactly.
evidence or information to say that like someone is the chosen one at this
Right.
point.
Just because we know that like there is soon to be a impending doom that's about to rise doesn't necessarily mean that like we are the ones that like have to stop it.
Correct. I think it could just be random, it could be fate. We don't know yet. But at the moment, I would say no. The antagonist is a dark lord. I feel like kind of, right? Because he's a
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're absolutely marking that. The story rests heavily on the good versus evil trope.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
As with every fantasy story
Yeah.
ever. Magic exists,
Yeah.
so yeah. There are different races with different powers or abilities. Yes, because they were
Yes.
like,
There's.
"Oh, you're elven. Your
Yes.
spidey senses are tingling,
Yes.
and you were able to dodge an attack." So yes, I just feel like I was really unnecessarily sassy during this episode, and I really don't know what.
I love it.
There is a key damsel in distress. I feel like that's Nia.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
How many
I'm
times we had to
sorry.
help her?
Yeah, no, she literally ran into our arms and screamed help.
And not to mention, we had to help her so she could help us, and that's not no.
Yeah. The protagonist has a mentor. We don't really have one at the moment, I don't
No, we
think.
don't. Nope.
Okay. The setting is either ancient or medieval based. It's kind of like when every single fantasy setting looks like Europe, like
Yes,
medieval Europe, which I think that's true.
it is.
There are powerful artifacts. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just took a sneak peek at the next prompt. I already know it's correct. Because taverns, it just says taverns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, ale. Give us 30 gold so we can pay our bar tab, pretty much. The antagonist has powerful allies, often with their own powers. I will say yes. I mean, obviously, like, Nia isn't powerful now, but obviously she's a priestess of light, so she's going to come in handy when it comes to
Yep.
defeating the Dark Lord. The protagonist learns new skills during their journey. Yes. God, can I breathe for like a second? Like, this is even worse than Bloodbound. The next one just says dragons, which no, we haven't come across any like
no.
actual dragons. The next one says quest. Yes. I would say the plot within itself is kind of a quest, even outside of the whole side quest thing.
Right. I agree with you.
It says a key character has a hidden ancestry or origin story, which is like when a character is like related to like the great high priestess from 200 years ago. We don't really have that background yet.
No, not yet.
So I'm going to say no, not quite. The next prompt says there are training schools for magic, which I would say yes.
Yes.
The temple,
Yeah.
the temple to me is a training school.
Yeah, they took her in.
They're not doing a good job, but it still counts. The next prompt says the protagonist is an orphan. Yes.
Yes.
Oh boy, this is good. Real predictable here. Then the next one says it's a band of adventurers who don't get along, but they team up and they discover that they like each other. I don't know if we got into the they like each other point. I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to leave it unmarked for now.
Right.
The next one says the MC is the one true heir identified by a mark or artifact, which again, we don't really know yet, so TBD. The next one is that there are priests who go adventuring. So they shouldn't have.
No. They should stay home.
They should stay home and like practice some more healing magics. That's the only thing they know how to do. We're marking that. Another one, and this one we definitely don't have yet. It says that someone sacrifices their life to save another, but ends up being resurrected. We don't know.
No. Yeah. No.
The next prompt is the villain's lair is big and dark and is only enterable by a secret passage, which way too early in the thing to know that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is that there is a physically large female warrior. Again, haven't necessarily seen that yet. And then the last one, there is dark magic and light magic. I think it's pretty clear to say that. Surprisingly, we don't have bingo, but I will say it's truly only a matter of time. Because we marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 boxes.
Oh my god, that's more than half.
16 with the free space. So as a reminder, the bingo has 25 boxes. We've marked 16 of them. So it's kind of only a matter of time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, what ending thoughts, so far I'm really enjoying Blades.
Same.
Thank you for the peer pressure to get back into it. I will make fun of the characters mercilessly because they're such a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Same.
I'm enjoying the premise of the plot. I really am. And I think it's good that they kind of like put it really high stakes with Cade being kind of kidnapped by the Shard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is going to be good.
Yeah, it drives it.
Fantasy, it drives the plot, and I think what fantasy does is it's very believable to put us in very dramatic situations because everything is so high stakes in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to believe that like someone's literally like could die in any second now.
Yeah, it's truly life or death, and like we saw that in the first 2 chapters.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll say that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We publish new episodes anywhere that you can literally find a fucking podcast every Saturday. So yeah, I think we're done. And Gabe, we finally got to Blades.
Bye, guys.
Bye.